everyone and Happy New Year. Today we're going to meet another character from the first Christmas. Now, you're probably thinking that Christmas is over, but actually this visitor was among a group that visited baby Jesus in Bethlehem, but not on that first Christmas night. We're not exactly sure when they visited, but we do know they had travelled a long way. So let's go into the book and meet one of the wise men.
Well, hello there. How are you all? I am exhausted. I've just got back from a really long trip, and now I have got to unpack. I'd also like to be able to sit down on a comfy cushion. Camels are a great way of travelling, but you do end up with a very sore behind. Anyway, you're not here in order to hear me moaning. You want to hear all about my trip. Well, my story starts quite a few months ago. My friends and I were out with all our special instruments, studying the stars. That's our job, you see. When we spotted a brand new star, one that we had never seen before. It was really bright and a wonderful shape, and we just knew that it was special. We consulted all our papers and realized that actually this new star meant something. It meant that a new king had been born, the King of the Jews. Well, we were all very excited. A new king! We decided right away that we needed to go and pay a visit to this new baby king and worship him. We packed up our things straight away so that we could start our journey that very same night. We made sure we had plenty of food and water for the journey, as we were not sure how long it would take, and we also remembered to pack some gifts to give to the baby king. The journey wasn't easy. We could only travel at night, as the star was showing us which way to go. We travelled and travelled. All the time we could see that beautiful star shining brightly. It was leading us west into the country of Israel. Well, we knew that the king of Israel, a man named Herod, lived in Jerusalem, so we headed straight to the palace. There was a lot of excitement in Jerusalem when we arrived. I suppose we must have looked quite exotic. A group of travellers from the east, riding on camels with other camels that were laden with baskets. When we got to the palace, we were greeted warmly by King Herod. That is until we asked him the question, where is the newborn king? Herod looked really confused. So we explained about seeing the new star and how we had followed it all the way from Persia, which is where we live, and how we wanted to worship the baby. At this point, he seemed to get quite angry. His face went all red and blotchy, so we were quite happy when he ordered us to leave the throne room. We used the opportunity to go and freshen up a bit. We could hear lots of people bustling to and from the throne room while we were waiting. I had a sneaky peek through the door, and I think from the outfits it must have been chief priests that were being called in to advise him. It was quite a while later that Herod finally called us back to see him. We were expecting a room full of people, but there was not even any guards in the room. It was empty, apart from Herod and us. He asked us some more about the star we had seen, exactly when it had appeared, and how we knew what it meant. He then told us that the baby had been born in a place called Bethlehem, which is in Judea, because that found a king. And then it stopped right over a house. There was absolutely no doubt in our mind that this was the right place. We approached the house and saw the child and his mother, a lady named Mary. We immediately bowed to the ground and worshipped this king. We then presented him with the gifts that we had brought with us to honour him. Firstly, gold, the most precious of metals, pure and hard to find, what all the best crowns are made of. The second gift was frankincense, a sweet-smelling resin used in worship. So when you smell it, you are reminded of God. The third gift was myrrh, another resin, but this one is used in burials, a sign that this special baby was born to die. We all thought these were the perfect gifts. That night, all of us in the group had the same strange dream in which we were warned not to go back to Herod. In the dream, we were told that Herod didn't want to worship this newborn king, but instead wanted to kill him. So instead of going to Jerusalem, we came straight back home. And here we are. And that's my story. Now for a nice cup of tea. Yeah.
Christmas time is often thought to be about gifts, giving them, receiving them. A tradition thought to be started by the visit of the wise men. The wise men thought that they had brought the perfect gifts for the newborn king, baby Jesus. But did you notice what those gifts were? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, all very valuable gifts at that time. To us, they seem like a bit of a strange selection. Gold for a king, okay, Jesus is a king. Frankincense for a priest, who are the only people allowed to speak to God. Well, Jesus is God's son now here on earth, so that makes sense. But myrrh? An oil used for keeping away the smell of death? The strangest gift for a baby. However, we only celebrate King Jesus, the Son of God's birth, because of his death. He was born to die, and were it not for this, his birth wouldn't be important to us at all. So, these three gifts remind us of why Jesus was special. Gold for a king, frankincense for God's Son, and myrrh because he came to die for us. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, please say Amen at the end after me. Dear God, thank you that when you sent your Son Jesus to be born on earth, you gave the world the most important gift. Thank you that in Jesus you gave the world everything heaven had to offer. Amen.